3 of True Sim brings us yet another from the back tees. I don't know if we'll see anything different here at Scioto Golf Club, or Country Club, right? Medium winds out of the south, firm default. Things are gonna be pretty slick, so we're gonna have to be very precise with our landing, have some spin. Might have to allow things to roll out. The medium wind though should be beneficial. It's just going to come down to how are these hole locations? How are they going to treat us? I don't think we want to lay up too short on this first one. I'm going to take the distance. I think we can kind of go right up and over the corner here. So let's see where we get to, and then we'll take it from there. I would say that's a pretty solid drive on the first. And if it's firm fairways, I expect it to bounce a good ways down, so we're probably into some sort of wedge. 79 yards with our pitching, or with our pitch on the sand wedge, which I think actually works out pretty well for us. Take just a little bit off, maybe even just go mostly on the spin here. I think if we can get a nice pitch to start this round, put the ball pretty close to the hole, and get our birdie and go. A little slow, but felt pretty good. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that a lot. All right. Just a touch right to left on the swing. It's just downhill, but it's short, so I'm just gonna send it home. Take our birdie, go off to the races. We need some really nice rounds here. I know that we've got some tough pin locations ahead of us, judging by the scores, because the conditions aren't too difficult in and of themselves. So if we can get some nice approaches, kind of do like what we did on round one. All right, light rough and a decent angle, so I think we can work with this. But if we can put the pieces together, we can definitely make a run towards the top of this leaderboard. Okay, so 90 to 95%, or 90 to 94%. If we lose 9 yards, it's 156. Another like 3 or so for the uphill. So we're at 153, wind in the face. Out of the light rough, this is gonna want to spin. Little loft and try and put some backspin on it. Hopefully this isn't too long. Just want to get this in a decent spot to the hole. Okay, that actually checked up a lot more than I thought it would. That wind, and actually it looks like the uphill slope on the green doing some work for us there. We've got 8 feet, down 2 inches. Getting a little bit of right to left read from this angle. Kind of feeling like it would maybe be left to right from that way, but I have to trust what I'm seeing, especially with it being downhill. Kind of still downhill behind. We're gonna play this a little bit safe. Just started a little bit outside the hole, let it work its way back. Oh wow, see, like that turns so much right at the start. I mean, it's so hard to know. you see what you see. You make assumptions about the putt, and sometimes when you hit it so softly, it just comes off the putter face at such a strong angle. Those are probably the most painful sorts of putts for me. 258. Little bit of wind, and then what? It's gonna be back uphill at the end. So do you try and take driver out? Nah, I think we're gonna have to take 3-wood. I think 3-wood's just the smarter play. Alright, a little bit of a pull. But we're gonna find fairway here, I think, unless something crazy happens. Alright. Pretty good number into this green. The wind in our face, though, is going to cause some slight issues for us. Hopefully nothing too crazy. Like, we're just gonna have to deluff to punch through this wind a little bit. Something like that, hopefully. It's a good strike. I like the line. A little bit short. Eight-footer, uphill 2 inches, but it's breaking, that's for sure. And if there's anything to take away from that last putt, I know it was downhill, but this definitely just feels like way more break. Not a bad read. Not a bad read. Took a little bit of a straighter line at the start, so we're gonna have to dial those in. We're gonna have to dial those reads in if we wanna go anywhere and fast. We got what, 181 to the front of this green. I think distance-wise we should be good. Distance-wise, probably need to take a little bit off and then give it a lot of spin. I think the combination of those two should relatively work themselves out. Oh, little push. It's gonna take us a little more center green, so we're getting away from that left edge. A little bit further than I'd like to be. 14 feet, pretty good on the approach distance. Alright, so this putt is sliding right to left the whole way. It's faster. See if this is a better read. It is. We're actually on the low side of pace there. We're actually on the low side of pace there. So I think if that maintains a little bit more, definitely would have had a better shot at it. But I can see why there have been struggles in this round to score. These hole locations are just a lot tougher. Even when you get it, you know, we've had a few 8-footers that have just had a bunch of break in it. Not a straightforward thing. Not a straightforward thing at all. Alright, I think we might take full off, full backspin. That's 93 yards. 92 because of the uphill. I think we can add a little bit back to it. I think this should go somewhere near where we want it to. And it should have some bite. Come on, stick. Come back. But you can see just in that little bit right there, like how much movement there is around the hole. So 6-footer uphill, I feel like we got to hit it pretty firm. And now at this point, when you're hitting it that firm, you're hoping so much so that you make the right read on this. Okay, that's huge. Get off the par train, get another birdie back. We have to be able to find more of those, and it's not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy at all. This track is very, very demanding. This track is very demanding when it comes to the putting surface. 247, 239, and then we're already back somewhere in here. So I think the only way to make this happen, especially considering that it's uphill, take the 3-wood, and I think if we maybe cut it back just a bit with the fade. I don't want to take too much because we still want to get there, so I'm just gonna like baby fade it. Just enough to get so it's already like above our feet enough. I'm gonna make sure that we're aimed a little bit more to the right, just for our own sake. Come on, be slope. Okay. Alright, we got a 13-footer for eagle. I could have played a little bit more of that fade. Definitely could have played a little bit more of that fade, just in terms of taking some of that yardage off of it, but I am very pleased. I am very, very pleased. It's tough because it seems pretty flat. I don't know that it's actually flat the whole way. My gut tells me that there's a little bit of left to right, so I'm gonna aim it just a little bit outside, or not even outside, but just kind of on the edge. But lo and behold, there was a little bit of right to left, like right in the early parts. So I think even if we hit that, I don't know, if we hit that straight, there's a chance that it grabs the edge, but there's also a chance it still misses outside. But tap in birdie for us nonetheless. That's just, it's tough. I wish that there was a better way to read in between, but I guess there's always that chance that if there's one small little thing that's off, yeah, there's like a hair of break in just a small spot, it's gonna be hard to pick up on regardless of what mechanics they give us. Felt a little bit fast, but I think it's still gonna turn out all right. All right, Wind playing just a hair stronger there. We've got ourselves an uphill putt, which I would hope is to my benefit, but honestly at this point, I don't really trust anything. Uphill, schmuphill. I say that, but there's another bird. All right. All right. We take those. We absolutely take those. Okay, here's that 8th hole again. This 8th hole continues to be my nemesis. We've bogeyed it every round thus far in the tournament. Let's turn our fortune upside down here. There's no... Yeah, that's 368 to the other side. I mean, with the wind, I mean, let's just give me a good laugh. I could maybe carry it right into the water. I think I could probably carry it about 150 or 350. So we're gonna try and get this 3-wood down as far as we can. I think we're kind of doing a little better. The first round, I think we put ourselves in the bunker to the right. The second round, we found center fairway a little further back. This time, now we're 186 yards out. We actually have like a straight line to the flag. Definitely our best position thus far to not make bogey. So going to try and capitalize on that best I can. All right. Little bit of a push, but we're still on a pretty good line here. There it is, right up to pin high. That's seemingly always my arch nemesis. You know, I always like to think that pin high is a good thing, but pin high always seems to have the break. 6-footer, downhill an inch. I mean, I think it's pretty much right to left at my feet. Flatter at the hole. Is it downhill behind? No, it's pretty flat. So I think we can go with... I think you can go with the slightly more aggressive. No. Ah, man. Everything about that was pretty much what I wanted it to be. I can't believe that hung on the low side, though. I really thought that we had made the right adjustments for it, but it turned just a hair too much. I mean, I potentially, yeah, you could always hit it harder. I suppose that's always a possibility. You can relax now, Deuce. Nice. GG's. I need to do the new anniversary missions where you like fight the stuff from... I did the first ones. I did like 1 through 4, I think. Now I need to beat... Now I need to do 5 with like the rainbow. What, you don't want your level 8 defense, bronze? All right, I having having a hard time here actually being able to tell what kind of break there might be. Touch left to right? A little bit off on the plane there, but we'll take it. 5 under. 5 under on the front. Got work to do, but if we can play the back nine anywhere close to the way we played it before. Well, that fast kind of out of nowhere. Maybe got a little bit trigger happy. 900k super, jeez. Okay, yeah, I got like a 400k super on the, like, the thing that annoys me is they put all the different types, and then it's like if you get supered on a type disadvantage, or not even type disadvantage, but just like not type advantage. Good luck. So yeah, we'll see how much I really try with it. Yeah. See, I'm glad I didn't club up one more, because I was almost thinking the 7-iron there, but I don't know how the 9 would have done. You just get bored of the same team. Yeah, I think I need to try some of the revive units. I think that might just make things easier for me. Alright, let's see what we can do here. So I think it keeps running downhill a bit behind the hole. All slightly above my feet, and then it seems to kind of be flattish down there. So if we get it out... Yeah, I think something like this. You're kidding me, right? You're actually kidding me that it rolls out that much. Okay. That's disappointing. That's disappointing to bogey there. You get so close. You get so dang close. And then you just have no chance of stopping it, like... Okay. Land it just on the green and it's gonna trickle, I guess. This is quite the predicament. Because uphill and into wind, this pitch shot might not make it. But if I loft and shape my lob wedge, like, I have to try and somehow get this lob wedge to, like, land at the back of the green and then spin back. This is gonna be quite the tall task. So let's maybe just start it from the top, right? 109, and then I can probably safely assume about 100. So if I'm taking like 12 yards off to get to the hole, and then you're lofting into the wind, something like here maybe? I hope I didn't go... it's just too far. And even with that, the way that that took a bounce forward, I don't know if that's just the lie that it was on, but... it took such a big kick. It's fast. Yeah. Alright, we're just gonna put this hole behind us, shall we? We're just gonna put that hole behind us. Let's turn this back nine around. Bogey par. Not the greatest. And you know what? What a perfect time. What a perfect time for a par 5. What a perfect time for a par 5. We've got a little bit of tailing wind. It's kind of off the side, but it's enough for us to drive almost 330 yards, roll it out about 350. Okay, here we go. We got 187 to the front. I definitely can't get 12 out of this 8-iron. So now this is a question of how do we want to go about this? Because the aggressive route is take the 7-iron right over the top. And that might be okay. 183, and then, I mean, you're going to get a few yards out of this. Definitely at least 3. Somewhere out there. A little bit of loft. The full backspin adds a few yards, so then we take it a little bit. Just kind of play it maybe a little bit more out to the right just to buy ourselves a little bit of room. Hold it with a little slow. Did I overshape it? I did. We went aggro, but we might be up enough, and if this is flat enough, now we're going into more of an uphill situation. So even out of the rough here, this is way more doable than that prior one that we had. So definitely put the shape on it. We're on an uphill lie. We know that it's going to come out a little bit shorter. A little bit of release. That's pretty good touch. Pretty good touch. Hit it a little bit fast. Or a little bit faster than I intended to. So we end up... yeah, you lose a little bit more distance. Get a little bit more left. But a birdie is a good way to go here. Downhill wind at the back. I think you just go kind of right at it. I mean, it should send it. Pulled it, so I'm gonna need that to cover the bunker. Alright, that'll play. That'll play. And actually, we're getting a little bit of a bounce out of this thing, so now a little bit of angle created to the pin, mayhaps? So let's see, 116, wind tailing. Gotta give this a little bit of loft, because we know it's gonna get a bounce. Ah, pushed it. I mean, that's exactly where we wanted to be. Probably would have been about 2 foot to the right of the hole without that miss. Alright, uphill. So we've got to try and capitalize because we've been having better luck with those. I mean, presumably this is just right to left the whole way, right? Maybe not a huge amount. Maybe not a huge amount, but it definitely has break written all over it. There you go. Come on now, putter. Come on now, putter. That's what we love to see. That's what we love to see. And then we don't love to see this. Just, you follow up a really nice putt with a 255-yard par 3. One of my least favorite things in the game. Now, if this had a little bit of tailing wind, I think it would be okay with the hybrid. But the fact of the matter is we are on the 3-wood. It's a little bit more to the right-hand side of the green, but it's like the line to the hole has plenty of rollout, but I feel like in order to manage our approach distance on this, I actually need to add a fair amount of fade on this. And like, I think I have to start it pretty far out. I'm hoping here that we are not hitting the tree. That's really what it comes down to. Oh, that's so close. That's so close. And it did not cut back anywhere near as much as I thought. I'm gonna need a little help from the green, which I don't think we're gonna get. Alright, 260 yards to 255, so we're 5 yards deep. Pretty decent control of distance at that length. Flattish, and then everything kind of turns at the end. I feel like I hit that kind of firm. I mean, that's really good distance control. It's always kind of a big shame when you think you see a bunch of break and then it just kind of moseys its way on out there. It doesn't really do too much. Alright, we've been playing this shot every round. Kind of a stinger. Little bit of fade on it though, just trying to fairway find. Okay, cut that one a little bit. Cut that one a little bit close. Hanging out a little too far on the right-hand side. Alright. Question becomes, do you try and de-loft the pitching wedge into this wind, or do you try and loft the 9-iron? I think there's an argument for both. I think we have to de-loft the pitching wedge a fair amount here in order to get the job done. Ah, that's way too slow. Way too slow. Very well could be that we would have been long anyway. Ever so slightly right to left, kind of the whole way.
What makes you think?
Chugga Chugga, thank you for the follow.
Turn me into a newt. A newt. Got better.
So much more break. so much more break in that. And then it doesn't break there. Crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. So there's another bogey on what, you know, what you would hope would be a routine 2-putt, but such is life. Now, back-to-back on the big slows is not good, especially with where this pin is. We kind of really needed to be fairway here. Because now we're completely out of position. I'm gonna have to play this more center green. I don't know if we can play some sort of cut on this. 6 iron. Gotta try to. I don't think it's gonna turn over quite as much, so we can probably play it more like here. That's a bit better. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm doing dumb stuff there. Big uphill, and then you've got the huge left to right. I mean, after some of the recent putts, like, I never know. Sometimes it feels like it breaks so much, and other times it feels like it doesn't. And this one, it looks to me like it has a ton of breaks, so we're gonna play it. We're gonna play it as such. But then, like, I watch that. Okay, the end result is a lot better. The early part there feels like, is it gonna move? Is it gonna move? Alright, let's see, where is this flag? 203 to the front. I mean, I think you have to play this one out more to the right. I think I'm just flirting with every ounce of danger that I can if I go right at it. Now, I think we can go out for something like this and then probably play a good amount of draw on it. Get us a little bit closer, try and feed us in from that right side. Oh, I pulled it left. That's an aggro line all of a sudden. Crazy is crazy what that pull does. All of a sudden, you're aim center green to being way out to the left. You can see that this has left to right. It's more at the start as it kind of goes uphill. As it kind of goes uphill, it definitely slows down. But I have to think that in the early goings of this putt, we're gonna create an... We had the right idea. We had the right idea. Well, we'll leave it at that. Not the greatest of putt paths. All of a sudden, we've gotten a couple of slows, and that's been killer. Hey, what's going on, Button? How have you been doing, man? Hope all is well with you. Oh boy. I'm just pretty much under the assumption this is gonna come out lesser. I'm also expecting this to come out more to the right. Can't really go for the flag. I mean, would have liked to have been a little closer than that. Yeah, these later rounds of the tournament are tough. These later rounds of the tournament are tough. I mean, this is just everything after the first has been not easy. You gotta hit it, Colby. You gotta hit it. Can't be very slow in your chips. All right, this to hang on to 5 under, BJ. This to hang on to 5 under. Just like I played golf to... No, I didn't, Button. I wish, man. I wish. I'm gonna go after work tomorrow, though. It's just, it's been warm and this is, you know. Golf shirts are pretty nice when it comes to that. It's comfy. Just look at that break. Look at that break. Where does that come from? And then the curl at the end. Yeah, that round was killer. That round was killer. 4 under, 3 bogeys on the back 9. I mean, we're trying our darndest, but you can see by the leaderboard scores here that even the top guys are not just tearing it apart. These pins make it very, very difficult to sink putts. I mean, it's as simple as that.